The staff at this hospital just over the South African border struggles to cope with thousands of Zimbabweans seeking treatment for cholera. Patients and relatives say people are suffering because the nation's healthcare system has collapsed. This man describes the scene at one hospital in the southeastern town of Chirez.
People, they are dying every day, especially in Chirez, the hospital in Chirez. The day we departed there, about 362 people were reported to be dead because of cholera.
Zimbabwe has declared a national emergency because of the deadly cholera outbreak. Some hospitals have closed and many are without water, drugs, or equipment to treat people. At least 575 people are dead, and by one estimate, nearly 13,000 more are sick, though humanitarian officials say exact numbers are difficult to determine. An official with the aid agency Oxfam says a national crisis should have been declared earlier.
So we thought that it came too late. The government could have acted much faster for them to be able to mobilize more international resources.
The cholera outbreak comes as a massive food shortage threatens nearly half of the country's population of about 12 million. Jennifer Parmalee is with the UN World Food Program.
Thousands of families are already resorting to desperation measures such as searching for wild roots to feed their families, skipping meals, skipping whole days without eating.
The UN World Food Program says it needs $140 million by January to feed hungry Zimbabweans over the next several months until the country's harvest in April. As the humanitarian crisis grows, more world leaders are joining in the call for Zimbabwe President Robert Mugabe to step down. Amid wrangling between Mr. Mugabe and opposition party leader Morgan Tsvangirai over a power-sharing agreement, Zimbabwe's government has been struggling to function. The Mugabe government blames the country's problems on Western sanctions. Jennifer Cook, director of the Africa program at the Center for Strategic and International Studies in Washington, says more pressure should be put on President Mugabe to implement the deal he agreed to in September.
The key is getting African leaders and African leadership, senior people like Raila Odinga in Kenya or President Wade in Senegal. You need that kind of consensus to isolate him and say, we simply won't recognize you.
Kenyan Prime Minister Raila Odinga told reporters the African Union should send troops into Zimbabwe.
If no troops are available, then the AU must allow the UN to send its forces into Zimbabwe with immediate effect to take over control of the country and ensure urgent humanitarian assistance to the people dying of cholera and starvation.
Besides leaders in Africa, European Union foreign ministers have imposed a travel ban on 11 of Mr. Mugabe's government officials. The ministers threaten even tougher sanctions unless President Mugabe gives up power. Simkins, VOA News, Washington.